Good morning, students. Today, let us take in History Lesson 6 Conflict with the Mughals. In the last lesson so far, we have learned Shivaji Maharaj had successfully fought the Adil Shahi, but for expanding the Swaraj, conflict with the Mughals was inevitable. The Mughals posed a great threat to the Swaraj even as it began to expand. Maharaj triumphed over this threat too. He regained his forts and territories from the Mughals. He got himself crowned. He took a campaign of the south. Now we shall learn about all these events in this chapter. Shaistakhan's invasion. In February 1660, Shaistakhan left from Ahmednagar and entered the Pune province. He ravaged the territory of the Swaraj by sending small units of his army to the neighboring areas. He encamped at Chakan. Firangoji Narsala, the Kiledar of the fort of Chakan, offered a great resistance to Shaistakhan's army. Finally, the Mughals captured the fort of Chakan. Shaistakhan set up his camp at Lal Mahal in Pune, where Shivaji Maharaj had lived in his childhood. Khan sent his forces in the region around Pune. These forces looted the people. 2 years passed, but he would not think of leaving Pune. Naturally, this had an adverse effect on the people's morale. In these circumstances, Maharaj drew up a bold plan. Shivaji Maharaj decided to raid Lal Mahal secretly under his own leadership. On 5th April 1663, Maharaj raided Lal Mahal at night with a select band of soldiers. In this raid, Shaistakhan lost his fingers. He suffered great humiliation. He left Pune and shifted his camp to Aurangabad. Due to this episode, he incurred the displeasure of Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb transferred him to the province of Bengal. The successful attack on Shaistakhan had an impact on the people, and their faith in the capability of Maharaj was strengthened even further. The Surat Campaign. In 3 years' time, Shaistakhan had ravaged large territories of the Swaraj. It was necessary to make good this loss. For this, Shivaji Maharaj devised a plan for teaching the Mughals a lesson. Surat was a big trade center and port under Mughal control. Surat was a big trade center and port under Mughal control. Maximum revenue was being generated by this city for the emperor. It was a rich city. Maharaj marched on Surat. Inayat Khan, the Subedar of Surat, could not put up any resistance. Maharaj obtained plenty of wealth from Surat without bothering the common people. His campaign of Surat was completely successful. Jaisingh's invasion. With a view to curbing the increasing activities of Shivaji Maharaj, Aurangzeb sent Mirza Raje Jaisingh, an experienced and powerful Rajput Sardar. Jaisingh came to Pune. He started rallying all the forces against Shivaji Maharaj. To the Portuguese of Goa and Vasai, the Dutch of Vengurla, the British of Surat, and the Siddhis of Janjira, Jaisingh suggested that they should start a naval campaign against Maharaj. Jaisingh drew up a plan of capturing the forts in possession of Maharaj. Mughals' forces were sent to various parts of the Swaraj. They ravaged the territories of the Swaraj. Maharaj endeavoured to resist the Mughals. Jaisingh and Diler Khan laid siege to the fort of Purandar. When the Mughals put the fort of Purandar under siege, Murarbaji Deshpande fought with the greatest of courage. He died a hero's death. Considering the seriousness of the situation, Maharaj began talks for a treaty with Jaisingh. He met Jaisingh personally. A treaty between Jaisingh and Maharaj was signed in June 1665. It is known as the Treaty of Purandar. In accordance with the terms of the treaty, Maharaj gave to the Mughals 23 of his forts and the adjoining territories, yielding an annual revenue of 4 lakh hunts. He also assured the Mughals of help against the Adil Shahi. The treaty was ratified by Aurangzeb. Agra visit and escape. After the Treaty of Purandar, Jaisingh launched a campaign against the Adil Shahi. Maharaj helped Jaisingh, but this campaign of Jaisingh was not successful. Jaisingh and Aurangzeb felt that Shivaji Maharaj ought to be kept away, at least for some time, from the Deccan politics. Jaisingh proposed to Shivaji Maharaj that he should visit Agra and meet the emperor. He guaranteed the safety of Shivaji Maharaj. Shivaji Maharaj set out for Agra. He was accompanied by Prince Sambhaji and a few of his trusted people who were ready to risk their lives for him. Shivaji Maharaj reached Agra. Aurangzeb did not treat him with due honor at his court. Maharaj gave vent to his rage. The emperor then put him under house arrest. Undeterred by this action of the emperor, Maharaj devised a plan of escaping from this house arrest. He adroitly escaped from Agra and reached Maharashtra safely after a few days. He reached Rajgarh. While returning from Agra, he had left Sambhaji Raje at Madura. Later, Prince Sambhaji was brought safely to Rajgarh. On the offensive against Mughals. Immediately after returning from Agra, Maharaj did not want any conflict with the Mughals. However, he wanted to recapture the forts and territories given to the Mughals as per the Purandar Treaty. For this, he prepared a comprehensive and bold plan. It was the strategy to capture the forts by sending a well-equipped army on the one hand and the other hand to keep the Mughals unstable by invading the territories of the Deccan under their control. Maharaj attacked the Mughal territories of Ahmednagar and Junar. Then he recaptured several forts such as Sinhgarh, Purandar, Lohagarh, Mahuli, Karnala, Rohita, etc. Then Maharaj attacked Surat for a second time. While returning from Surat, he fought a great battle with the Mughals at Vandinori in Nasik district. After that, Morapan Pingle captured Trimbakgarh near Nasik. The Shivaji Maharaj was successful in the offensive that he had launched against the Mughals. Sardars such as Tanaji Malsude, Morapan Pingle, Prataprao Gujar, etc., made a valuable contribution in these offences. Krishnaji Anand Sabasad, a contemporary chronicler, thus describes this campaign. He took as many as 27 forts in 4 months and earned a great reputation for himself. Now let us see the coronation. The founding of the Maratha Swaraj involved a relentless struggle for over 30 years. Maharaj realized that now it was necessary for the Swaraj to win general recognition as a sovereign independent state. For this, a formal coronation was necessary. On 6th June 1674, he had himself coronated at Raigad by Gagavad, a learned poet, Pandit. Maharaj ascended the throne of Swaraj. He now became the Chhatrapati of the Swaraj. As a symbol of sovereignty, the Rajya Shaka, the coronation era, was started. Maharaj became the founder of a new era. On the occasion of the coronation, special coins were minted. A gold coin called Horn and a copper coin called Shiv Rai with the legend Shivraja Shiva Chhatrapati inscribed on them. Thereafter, all royal correspondence carried the words Kshatrukya Vansa Sri Raja Shivaji Chhatrapati. A dictionary showing Sanskrit alternatives for Persian words was prepared. It is known as Rajya Vyavahara Kosha. The coronation of Shivaji Maharaj was a revolutionary event in the history of medieval India. While explaining the importance of this event, Sabasad writes, it was no mean achievement for a Maratha king to become such a great Chhatrapati. Shortly after this, on 24th September 1674, Shivaji Maharaj had his second coronation performed under the guidance of Nishalpuri Gosavi. There were two traditions of the religious ceremonies in India, Vedic and Tantric. Maharaj honored both the tradition and had two coronation ceremonies performed. The Campaign of the South. 3 years after the coronation, in October 1677, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj undertook a campaign of the south. He went to Golconda. There he called on Qutub Shah. He entered into a treaty of friendship with him. Later, Maharaj won Bengaluru, Hoskote in Karnataka, Jinji, Vellore, etc. Forts in today's Tamil Nadu and some other territories of Adil Shah. He appointed Raghunath Narayan Hanmante, the chief administrator, to look after these conquered territories. Yankoji, the half-brother of Shivaji Maharaj, was then ruling at Tanjavur. Shivaji Maharaj tried to get him to participate in the activities of the Swaraj. After Yankoji Raje, the rulers of Tanjavur encouraged art and learning. The Saraswati Mahal library there is world famous. In this campaign of the south, Maharaj had annexed the fort of Jinji in Tamil Nadu to his Swaraj. This proved to be of great importance in later years. When the Mughal emperor stayed put in Maharashtra to destroy Swaraj, they then Chhatrapati Rajaram Maharaj had to leave Maharashtra for several reasons of safety. At that time he took shelter in the southern fort of Jinji and ran the administration of Swaraj from there. Soon after the victorious campaign of the south, Shivaji Maharaj passed away on Raigad on 3rd April 1680. His death at the age of 50 was a great loss for Swaraj. A great era came to an end.